Hey everyone, so welcome to watch our podcast today. Today we have Mark Barron, the co-founder of PreLock, joining us for this podcast, and a little bit of introduction of Mao. So he's a very famous, builder in the world right now, and is generating 25,000 per month for the PreLock, the Christianity prayer app. Today we are here learning his story. So Mao, welcome.
Hey, Dylan, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Dude, I do
Yeah,
not feel famous at all, but that was very nice of you.
but you are famous already. So yeah, Mao. So apparently Prayer Lock went quite viral. I would say this is how I found you at the first place. So very exciting to learn about stories today, and also show this to your audience and to our audience too. So first question is really that I'm just wondering. So what is your journey into both faith and technology? Like how these two paths converge for you at the first place?
Yeah, my story is a little bit weird because I actually don't have a technical background. I am a
Hmm.
finance bro. I did a finance major, and halfway through my degree, when doing a report, I came across the original Codex model back in 2022, I think. And when I
Hmm.
saw that, I was like, "This is magic! Like, what is this?" Like, I didn't know what AI was, but I just knew
Uh-huh.
that it was the future. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna pivot. Let's like forget about the finance stuff and let's just focus on this because this looks like the future. I didn't drop
Hmm.
out. I finished my major, but I did in the process teach myself about AI. I taught myself how to code, and I started building software businesses. So I guess I've been building software businesses and products for the last 3 years. Everything from mobile apps to an agency to enterprise mobile apps and all that good stuff. And honestly, like none of my mobile apps, my personal mobile apps, had really been successful up until Prayer Lock, which I launched last year in June. And how I
Hmm.
came to the faith space is very funny because I gotta be honest with you, Dylan. Like I was desperate for something because I had already graduated. I needed to make money somehow, and I did not want to
Yep.
work. Like I told myself, I don't want to work a job ever. I want to
Hmm.
do this. I want to be a founder. So I needed
Yep.
something to work. And the most obvious idea was, to me at least, was making like an adult content AI app. Like I was like, that's easy.
Mm.
That's gonna print money. Like I gotta do this. And
Uh-huh.
so I started coding out the app. I finished it even, and then interestingly, like I went on a trip with my friends
Hmm.
during that time to Colorado. Like we hiked a mountain, and bro,
Yep.
like a meme. I thought like, dude, like you have all of this nature, you have all of this, and you're building an AI corn app. Like, come on.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
so that's when I went back home and decided, you know what, like I gotta do something different.
Yep.
And my dad, I didn't grow up Christian.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I didn't grow up Christian at all. But my dad had recently turned Christian, and had been telling me about
Mm.
his faith and how I should give it a shot, give it a try. And I was like, you know what, let's do it. I'm gonna listen to my dad because I feel a little lost here. I'm not gonna lie, I feel
Hmm.
lost. But
Hmm.
if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be through my passion, which is technology and AI. And so
Hmm.
that's how I started doing faith apps, and yeah, that's how the journey started.
So that's the moment your dad pretty much was the inspiration that you wanna work on, career lock at the time, right?
Yeah, he definitely pushed me to at least give God a try, like try to get closer
Yeah.
with him, and so yeah, it was he definitely had a lot of influence in me for
So
sure.
your dad is literally the very first founder for career lock, in a way, if they call that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, you did finance before in college, and later on you have built a couple of apps by yourself, right? So how long did it take you to finish all of this? Like, building a couple of apps. Like how long have you been doing this, building
Yeah,
apps?
so been building apps for 3 years, and at first,
Hmm.
I started building apps right around the time ChatGPT came out. It was good timing
Mm.
because I taught myself how to code before ChatGPT was a good foundation. Then ChatGPT
Yeah.
comes out, and I'm like, huh, like it's much easier to build them now. So let's just use this. And I was, copy and pasting the code and figuring out where things went. It was very messy. So
Hmm.
back then, my very first app, which was an AI companion for the elder, that took me like 3 months to finish, which was
Right.
it was quite a bit.
Yeah.
But then, as the AI improvements continue, then like it has taken me much less. My second
Hmm.
app for another like company that
Yeah.
took me like a month, and then from there, all of my Fade apps took literally 3 days. The prayer log took 3 days to make.
Wow, 3 days.
Yeah.
That's quite successful. I'm a user of Prayer Log, so can you show the audience, like, walk them through what the Prayer Log looks like, like for 3 days, after 3 days of development works.
Yeah, like oh, wait, you're saying like talk them to like the development process?
No, it's just like, how it looks like right now, how the
Yeah.
product looks like right now.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, let me share
Maybe
my
a lab
screen.
demo or something. Yeah, yeah. Let's just see
Yeah,
how far,
yeah.
you have achieved in 3 days by yourself after
Yeah.
3 years of development experience.
Thanks. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
So there's a prayer lock app. The app actually looks very similar to like how it looked when I launched it. It's the exact same home screen. There's one extra tab, but really all of the improvements that have come from prayer lock since I launched it have been in the onboarding. So this is pretty
Hmm.
much the original app. So okay, so
Hmm.
there's a home screen where you see your prayers, and the way it works is you go to the log list, and then you just choose your apps to block. Here I'm gonna deselect them. They're already selected. We're gonna select them again.
Yeah.
Since it is a simulator, it won't show the apps that you selected, but in reality in your phone, you
Hmm.
would see your apps here. Then you go to the
Hmm.
home screen, and let's say you just want to open up an app, but now you can't because it's blocked.
Hmm.
And you're gonna hit with this shield screen that tells you to pray. So we click on the
Yeah.
notification that you get, and
Hmm.
now you're gonna be asked two questions, which is how's your relationship with God today, and then you can choose
Hmm.
here in the range.
Hmm.
Um, then the second question is how are you feeling today? Again, you can just
Yeah.
choose. And then from this, prayer lock makes an AI generated prayer that then you have to recite. And like the sign here was very conscious because like we don't just give you the prayer like this. Like we actually want you to take some time to pray, some time to take some time off your phone. And that's one of the
Hmm.
reasons why we give you the prayer slowly, like as if it was streamed. And
Yeah.
so yeah, just because this is now when the user starts praying and saying their whole prayer. This will take
Hmm.
some time to finish.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the background, while this is happening, we're also calling another LLM. We use
Hmm.
Gemini actually to then give you a little Bible verse screen. Let me show you guys here. So
Yeah.
click I pray today, and then in here
Hmm.
you're going to choose your next block schedule. Like the default is 6 p.m., but if you want, you
Hmm.
can log them for 15 minutes, an hour, or the rest of the day. You
Yeah.
choose. Let's just say it's 6 p.m. here. If you press
Yeah.
continue, you get your day streak, and then you get your Bible verse. That second LLM call is for the background. That's actually
Mm.
what's called like generated UI. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, you get your Bible verse, you read it, and you're good to go. Now you can just go back to that app that you wanted to open. Usually it's social media.
Uh-huh.
So yep, that's the
Right.
demo.
Yeah, guys, if you ever want to explore the app, remember, later on we will attach the App Store link, in the comment area, so later on you can just, download the app and start, regularly praying with most products.
Thank
So more like you took 3 days to build the app, and is now the product content the same? The time when you finish developing the first iteration,
you.
the first version.
Wait, what was that? Sorry.
So I mean, like, is the product content, for the app right now the same with the first iteration of the product
Not at
at the
all. Not
beginning?
like the
Mhm.
social media strategy, like the content we do.
No, no, like, the pre-log, what are the features that you just you just showed? Are they the same with, the time when you shipped the very first version of the pre-log?
Yeah, yeah. The features are the exact same features. Like it's
Oh man,
yeah. It's
then
like
you are a genius in a way. Like, without a next iteration, the very first iteration, you hit the jackpot in a way.
I mean, I gotta give my boy lots some credit
Uh,
here to be honest, because
yeah.
the way I came to the app was
Hmm.
because there was this other app in the space, called Prey
Uh-huh.
Screen, and I looked at that
Yeah.
app and I didn't like it. Like
Hmm.
I didn't like the colors, I didn't like the how they delivered it. But I
Hmm.
guess I took inspiration from there and just iterated my own version.
Mm. So in your case, you just said, there are other apps, right? So what in your opinion, um, feel free, to skip this question if you don't want to answer. So what makes, prayer log different from other prayer or devotional apps out there? You said you didn't like the color, you didn't like the UX, I assume, but anything else that you feel like, makes you guys competitive, advantages, than others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, yes. The other app similar to Prayer Lock, like I guess other screen
Hmm.
time Christian apps, in
Hmm.
my opinion, are
Hmm.
ugly. They're so ugly. They have no taste. They look like they were
Yeah.
made for like boomers, and they use
Uh-huh.
like things like brown colors. Like the whole
Hmm.
branding aspect is not there at all. And one thing we were
Mm.
really very conscious with Prayer Lock was actually making it for the people that use it, which are Gen Z. Like 95% of the users are 14 to 24 years old. So we're like, you know what? Like,
Hmm.
let's make an experience that they will actually enjoy. So we make the
Uh,
use of emojis. There's a lot of colors. Like the whole experience is very brightful and colorful. If you look at other Christian apps, this is not the
mhm.
case at all. It's always very serious. It's always very bland. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
like that's one of the main differentiators with the
Hmm.
actual app is the whole branding and the whole experience of it. And then the other thing
Mm.
is, I realized a lot of Christian apps, not most of them, what they do is they fill the user with a lot of features. You know, like, hey, you want to read the Bible, read it here, and then do you want to pray, and then do you want to do like read Bible verses? Like, there's just way too many features in the app. And our philosophy with Prayer Lock is we're gonna do one thing, we're gonna do it super well, and that will be
Yeah.
blocking your phone until you pray. Like, if you want to
Hmm.
read the Bible, there's the free Bible app which people love. Like, but we
Yeah.
want to do what we do super well, and I think that this is something
Hmm.
that not a lot of Christian apps are doing. Like, they just fill their apps with a lot of useless features that honestly, like,
Yeah.
people don't even use in
Yeah.
their
I
apps.
think you.
They use great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a lot about your design philosophies. I just kind of curious to hear your thoughts about,
Well,
how did you balance making the app engaging without making prayer feel, gamified or trivial? Because, praying itself, in Christianity is a very serious, behavior that how, you design the app, to fulfill that, because also you previously just mentioned about the UX and, different other things that you want to treat it seriously, but also at the same time, you want it to be very focused on one feature and to do it extremely well. So yeah, just kind of curious, like how did you balance out, making this app engaging without making prayer feel gamified or trivial in a way?
yeah. Actually, when I was making the app for the first time, I took a lot of time with that question because
Hmm.
um, like on the demo that I showed, like the prayer, like we don't give you the prayer all at once. The screen where you read your actual prayer is white. Like, there's not color
Uh-huh.
in there. The like it takes time for you to read the prayer. Like, we don't just throw it out to you. So I guess the balance there is the actual prayer experience is very calm and not colorful at all. If you see that screen, like the whole rest of the app can be colorful, but not the actual prayer experience.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how we did it. We just made sure that the prayer we gave to you was not thrown out. There's not a lot of colors in that screen, and
Hmm.
yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
since you have a few months have already passed, after you have launched the app, what has been the most surprising thing to have learned from the market so far? Like, you have 100% expected anything like this before. Apparently, the app went viral. That's one thing I assume that you didn't expect, from the time when you built it. But any other things that surprise you that you have learned?
Yeah. Actually, when I was getting into the faith space, I thought
Uh-huh.
users of these apps were hardcore Christians. Because you got to remember, I wasn't a Christian when I started the app. I only became a
Yeah.
Christian through building the app.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, like users are probably hardcore Christians. Users are probably like people that are very firm in their faith. But then
Hmm.
through building Paralock and distributing it, I found out that this is not the case at all. Hardcore Christians hate mobile apps. They don't
Oh, yeah.
they hate faith mobile apps. Like they think it's like something a distraction.
Yeah.
So what surprised me is most of our users are first very young users, 14 to 24 years old, and then the other thing is they are new Christians. They are newer Christians, people just getting into their faith, people struggling a lot with their relationship with God. Like, we're really helping people here that are new to Christianity and that struggle. And
Yeah.
that was not my thought in the beginning. I thought this was an app for people that were firm in their faith.
Yeah. So yeah, this is literally I was wondering, before you shared this with me just now, I was literally wondering, have you faced any skepticism from either the tech community or the face community about the app? But apparently, there was a little bit of skepticism, around the app itself, right? Mostly because I think usually, they are quite conservative in a way, but apparently that you have the traction also, right? So there were like people who are skeptical about it, but also at the same time, there are still quite some people they are adopting, what you are building. So that's pretty good, Yeah.
Yeah, the skepticism comes from two sides. Like some of the
Uh-huh.
creators we try to work with, like they tell us like, hey, like brother, I don't want to
Uh-huh.
work with you because
Yeah.
your app is a paid app, or hey,
Hmm.
like I see some reviews in your app and we are
Hmm.
uncomfortable with that. So there is definitely that, but it's definitely the minority, at least among younger people.
Hmm.
But like if you look at the reviews and everything, like people really tend to like Fairlock, but for
Yeah.
sure, like older users and some creators don't like the fact that it's paid.
Yeah. Do you have any stories about, stories of like how prayer log has impacted, someone's prayer life or faith journey? Because
There's
you have a quite a user base right now, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it's beautiful to see. Like most of the comments or most of the reviews that people leave on with prayer luck is stories about how it has helped them get closer with God, get into a prayer habit because these are newer Christians. But there is a
mhm.
very funny review that some lady left in there that said that
Uh-huh.
prayer lock kind of made her repent and confess to her husband that she had cheated.
Oh, wow.
So that was so wild. That's like the wildest review
Uh-huh.
we have. Like it's right there in the app store. Like it's basically like, hey, like she's basically apologizing to her husband, and like
Oh,
in the
wow.
review, but then she credits Prayer Lock for it. So that's definitely a weird one.
Well, yeah, but yeah, that's especially comment this, make this review in public is definitely, I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel
that
you. I
was
feel
so
you.
weird.
Yeah. So, so yeah, since, well, according to the story just now, a prayer log has already made some impacts, on someone's life already, based on the review and all that, like you described just now. So, what are your goals? Like, how you wanna make prayer log more impactful? Like, what are you trying to do in the future, or what is the vision that you're trying to, do with the prayer log in the future?
Yeah. So right now our main goal is growing Prayer Lock, impact more people.
Hmm.
One core metric to measure impact and growth is basically just revenue. So right now we're
Yeah.
making 25 k a month, and want to be
Hmm.
making at least 500K by the end of the year. So that's like our right now our target, just 500K by the end of the year, and yeah,
Hmm.
keep impacting people as much as we can through prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So initially, when you go to market by yourself, right? So at the time, how were you thinking about the growth and the reach? Like, were you focused on a specific community or demographic, or you pretty much just, like did a lot of like social media thing, or
Yeah, no. When I started, I honestly had no idea where to look, where to where to start. So
hmm
what I did is just I tried to do everything at once. So I started posting
yeah,
around 30 to 40 times a day, like all types of content. Of course, in the Christian niche, I was doing carousels, I was doing reactions, I was doing
hmm
memes. I was trying to do everything just to try to see what moved the needle. And of course, I was also
yeah,
copying my competitors' content, which, funny
hmm
enough, it didn't really work for me at least. But then
hmm
I was able to get a format working, which was just reaction videos, like girl reaction videos with a little demo
hmm
on it. And when I
hmm
saw that, I knew that I had to double down. So
hmm
that was Prayer Log's main distribution strategy until I started doing paid ads. And then with paid ads, is Prayer Log pretty much grew to the moon.
yeah. So in your case, apparently that you are a very talented developer by yourself. It took years. It took 3 years. Of your time. To be who you are today. Um, so what do you think, some of the advice that you want to give to other aspiring, builders like you, apparently go for it is one of them, like just, keep doing things like what you did in the past, like, when you were going to the market initially, you just did, 30, 40 posts a day. What kind of advice that you think, other people should know or the earlier yourself should know?
Yeah. So in terms of development, I
Uh,
would say don't start, don't do any mock-ups. Like don't try to design your app before you start building it. We are right now in the age where you can just open up Cursor, open up Cloud Code or whatever, and just start prompting it to give you, your app. So
mhm.
instead of iterating with design and with mockups, just iterate through code. Like go straight into code. And then another big thing is I don't think authentication or a database is needed for modern apps. And I say this because especially for newer developers and people newer to the space, it can be very tough. It can be very tough to understand what a database is. It can be tough to connect them in the first place and to know what authentication is. And I know for a fact that this is where most people get stuck on and usually just give up. So it's not needed. PrairieLog doesn't have a database. PrairieLog doesn't have authentication, and
Yeah.
it's doing just fine. We just save it all locally on device. So that's what I would say in terms of actually building the app. And then in terms of design, it would be take some time, like actually take some time to iterate and to make good apps because software is cheap right now. Everyone can just open their computers and spin up an app. The difference will be in how much care you put into your product and how much taste
Mhm.
there is. Like, did you take the time to make sure that you're using I don't know, good colors, the font, all of that, especially also the logo, like all of these little things that people overlook, especially as vibe coding becomes more of a thing or more famous.
Yeah.
Uh, that's the thing you should be focusing on, which is your logo, your colors, all of this. Take some time to get those right, and then that
Mm.
would be on design. And then in terms of marketing your app, is volume beats everything. Like, you cannot get around volume. You have to start, like, I would say you have to start posting yourself. Even
Yeah.
if you're technical, I have a technical background, I guess, in theory, because I didn't know anything about marketing, and I had to post myself. And through posting, you learn a lot of things. You like start gaining this viral sense, what people call it. So there's no way around this, and you need to
Mhm.
do volume before you even try paid ads, or I would argue even before you try influencers or any of all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you think, from your 3 years of, development of experience of builder journey by yourself, do you see, one man startup is becoming more and more a rea more and more of a reality, or you still feel like, it's like we're still quite far out from the one man startup?
No, I think for sure, it's becoming more and more of a reality. I mean, this was my reality until very recently, where I started working with someone else, with my co-founder. But
Hmm.
I was able to launch the app myself, design the app myself, market the app myself. Um,
Yeah.
I believe this is where things are headed for sure.
Oh, wow. So also at the same time, do you feel like you see more and more solo founders, like they are just building a one-man startups and making revenue? Do you see more of that, coming from your
Yeah,
own
I mean,
experience?
yeah, and then there's also some good data on this. I remember some months ago I saw a solo founders report, like the solo
Hmm.
founders program report. And they were saying how like solo founding has increased so much from last year and like all the years before. Like
Hmm.
definitely, especially right now with AI tools, I don't think it makes sense to wait for anyone. Wait for what are you waiting for? Like there's literally never been a better time to build. So for
Mm,
sure, I think we're going to continue to see tremendous growth in solo founding.
nice. So if someone's listening to this podcast and wants to try Prayer Lock or follow your work, where should they go? So apparently, we will attach your Twitter slash X URL, also the URL of the App Store of Prayer Lock, but also at the same time, what they can contribute or any potential future benefits that you planning to give out to, users in any scenarios.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Uh, Give me a follow on X if you want to learn more about mobile apps and distribution. I try to give as much sauce in there as I can because I know the
Uh-huh.
struggles that come with building solo and just with building in general. So I try to give out as much sauce as I can in X, definitely. And yeah, of course,
Mhm.
if you want to give Prayer Lock a try, it's just prayerlock.com and you'll download it right there.
Sure. Wow. So guys, you all hear from the founder, the co-founder of Prelockhere is with us today. And later on, we will let you know where you can try Prelock and Also don't forget to follow, Mao's account. Like he said, he has been sharing some of the very juicy, app development experience and a go-to-market and different other things. So Mao, thank you so much for being with us today and just, sharing all your thoughts and experience with the audience.
Thank you, Dylan. It was my pleasure.
Sure. Thank you so much. See you
Yeah.
guys.